thinking about buying your first home in Colorado Springs, before you jump in, you need to understand the real pros and the real cons, and a few things most first-time buyers don't realize until they're already too deep into the process. The cost of living has risen across most major cities of Colorado, and Colorado Springs is no exception. Between higher home prices and higher interest rates, buying your first home today can absolutely feel challenging. And honestly, for some people, buying right now makes sense. For others, it may not. That's exactly why this conversation matters. A lot of first-time home buyers are hearing completely opposite opinions online. Some people say you should buy immediately no matter what. Others say you should wait until rates change or prices drop. But the truth is, buying a home is personal. Your income matters. Your stability matters. Your long-term plans matter. So in this video, I want to walk you through the real pros, the real financial challenges, and the situations where buying your first home in Colorado Springs can actually make sense, even in today's market. By the end, you should have a much clearer understanding of whether home ownership fits your situation financially and practically. One of the biggest advantages of buying a home is payment stability. When you rent, your payment can change year after year. A lot of renters in Colorado Springs have experienced rent increases repeatedly over the last several years, and that certainly can make long-term financial planning difficult. With a fixed rate mortgage, the principal and interest portion of your payment remains stable over time. That predictability can be especially important for younger families trying to budget carefully and build long-term financial stability. Now, obviously, taxes and insurance can change over time, but many buyers still prefer the idea of controlling their house payment instead of constantly reacting to rent increases. Another major advantage is equity. When you own your own home, part of your monthly payment is slowly building ownership over time, instead of simply covering housing for 1 month. And for many first-time buyers, the goal isn't necessarily buying their forever home immediately. A lot of people are simply trying to buy a stable starter home, begin building equity, and position themselves better financially 5 to 7 years from now. Now, here's where the conversation gets more realistic, because while there are benefits to buying a home in Colorado Springs, affordability has become more difficult for many people. Interest rates combined with home prices have absolutely changed the monthly payment conversation. And that means buyers need to look honestly at their income, lifestyle, and financial comfort levels before jumping in. For some buyers, especially households with stable dual incomes, purchasing may still be very attainable, and there are also financing opportunities many people overlook. For example, if you're a veteran or active duty military, a VA loan assumption could potentially create a much more affordable monthly payment compared to current market rates. That's something many first-time buyers don't even realize exists. Another thing buyers are overlooking right now is new construction inventory homes. Many builders in Colorado Springs are currently offering substantial incentives to buyers. That can include seller-paid closing costs, interest rate buydowns, or significantly lower fixed rates than buyers expect. And in some situations, those builder incentives can dramatically improve affordability compared to resale homes. If this raises questions about your situation, there's a link in the description where you can get clarity or ask us directly. Now, one of the biggest mistakes first-time buyers make is focusing only on whether they qualify instead of whether the payment truly fits their life comfortably. Those are two very different things. Just because a lender says you can technically buy up to a certain amount doesn't necessarily mean that's the smartest financial move for your lifestyle. You still have utilities, maintenance, repairs, groceries, transportation, childcare, debt payments, and home ownership always comes with unexpected costs. Eventually, a lot of first-time home buyers also underestimate how important long-term planning really is. Questions like, how long will you realistically stay in Colorado Springs? Would you potentially need to move for work? Could you rent the property later without losing money every month? Could you still comfortably handle the payment if employment changed or life circumstances shifted? Those are incredibly important questions, because buying a home isn't just about getting approved today. It's about creating stability for your future. And honestly, everyone is in a different place financially. Some buyers have saved a substantial down payment. Others are starting with much less cash but strong income and stability. Some people are financially ready today. Others may need another year to strengthen savings, improve credit, or reduce debt. And none of those situations are wrong. One thing I strongly encourage first-time buyers to do is have a quality conversation with a reputable local lender early in the process, not just to ask what you qualify for, but to actually build a plan. A good lender should help you understand what your monthly comfort zone looks like, how different loan options compare, what happens with taxes and insurance, how much cash you should realistically keep in reserves after closing. That planning piece matters more than most people realize. Now, let's talk honestly about who buying a home in Colorado Springs usually is a good fit for. Typically, it's buyers with stable income, realistic expectations, emergency saving, and a plan to stay in the home long enough for ownership to make financial sense. The buyers who usually feel the best after purchasing are the ones who prepared carefully instead of rushing emotionally. Now, who may struggle right now? Usually people trying to force the process before they're financially comfortable. If the payment already feels stressful before moving in, that pressure usually doesn't improve after closing. And sometimes waiting, planning, and strengthening your financial position is actually the smarter move. That's not failure, that's maturity. Another surprise for many first-time buyers is realizing that your first home doesn't need to be perfect. Maybe the home is smaller than you imagined. Maybe it's slightly farther from work. Maybe the finishes aren't fully updated. That's very normal for starter homes. The goal is not perfection. The goal is creating a stable foundation you can build from over time. At the end of the day, buying your first home in Colorado Springs is not about pressure, hype, or trying to perfectly time the market. It's about understanding the full financial picture, knowing your comfort zone, and making a decision that supports your future goals. For some people, buying now makes a lot of sense. For others, preparing longer is the better move. Both are valid. The important thing is making a smart decision based on your real life, not social media opinions or outside pressure. If this was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And check out this next video. It builds on what we just talked about and will help you take the next step.